Them. Thanks, y'all. Give them a big round of applause.
Thank you, John, for the introduction. Thank you, Sierra Club, for inviting us. Today, I have the privilege of introducing Giselle Flores, who will be giving most of the talk today. I'll be sharing some of it with her. But Giselle and Ambita are the founders of the Tabs Insect Club. And unfortunately, Ambita can't be here today because she won a scholarship and she's going to accept the scholarship. So very good reason to miss. But here is Giselle Flores to begin the talk.
Hello, how's everyone today? Wait, y'all didn't hear me? Oh, sorry. How's everyone today doing? Good? Good. So we're gonna be presenting our project, obviously. So is Turnipweed invasive or essential? Rethinking bastard cabbage in urban insect life. So this is essentially what we're gonna be covering today, the background on Turnipweed and Turnipweed. The Trinity River, the habitat, bastard cabbage, parasites and predators, mimicry, reproduction, nursery, resting, hunting, and the comparison between the two samples of 2026 and 2024. What was different and why?
Thank you, Giselle. So bastard cabbage has been vilified in Fort Worth. You guys have probably all heard about how bad it is. Worldwide, it's introduced, and the biggest issue that I came up with is that it competes with food crops, specifically wheat, which is why it is not a welcome invasive species throughout the world. It's also toxic, potentially to some livestock, but it does thrive in disturbed areas like riverbanks, trails, sides of highways, etc. You've probably all heard of the Savage Cabbage Bashes organized by Joanne Collins. Unfortunately, she's not here tonight because she's sick, but she's a friend of mine. We've talked about it, and I'm recording this video for her. But when we talk about this Savage Cabbage Bash, where we're pulling them out, students will get together and pull them out. The idea is that they're out competing native flowers and things to that nature. But if you go back to the areas where they've been pulled out, you're not finding any native plants. So it started me thinking about whether or not this species is as bad as everyone says it is. Maybe it's not as bad. So the problem with the Trinity River does spread really quickly. You've probably seen it all along the highways as well. It's pretty ubiquitous. It's worldwide now. Outcompetes native stuff, impacts the health of the ecosystem, potentially in a positive way. It grows really fast. It only blooms in March, late March, or early March, April, and it's pretty much gone already now if you go outside. But today we're going to tell you about reasons that we think it's actually beneficial, especially in an urban ecosystem. We do not think that this invasive species should be in native, untouched areas, but if you're looking at the Trinity River corridor in Fort Worth, I would argue that this species is beneficial more than it is harmful. Giselle will continue on now.
Thank you. So, wait. I think I skipped the slide. Oh, okay. So Mr. Brinker did make a good point about how it overtakes native plants here in Texas, but that's for a good reason. That's because it usually grows in disturbed areas where land has been cleared, essentially for like new buildings, and there's lots of poor soil, so it does overtake the natural plants that usually do grow there. Yeah. And that leads to the Texas Triangle, which is where the main cities are: Fort Worth, Houston, and Austin, which is where it's also been found to be growing actively. Yeah. From there, we're gonna talk about the reproduction. So So sorry.
Sorry, you're doing good.
This is one of our figures, so you can see dragonflies mating on there. Yeah. This is a harlequin bug, which I'm sorry. This is a harlequin bug, which is actually a parasite to the plant. We got some clover stem borers. They're also mating. And this is the final mating position of the dragonflies. And of course, some beetles. Some cucumber beetles. They look a little silly. Some 7-spotted and spotted pink lady beetles. And this is their series.
Thank you, Gishelli. So not only do a lot of species use this plant to reproduce, but it's also an important nursery for a lot of different types of larvae, especially caterpillars from different types of butterflies. This is a cutworm moth right here. You can see this is a dragonfly larvae that's come out of the water and the adults pupated out. We've got salt marsh butterflies, tiger moths, another salt marsh. This is checkered white butterfly. See pupating lady beetles. These are 3 different species of lady beetle larvae, and this is lacewing eggs. So this plant species is used by lots and lots of insects in order to not only reproduce, but also for their larvae to feed and to grow and pupate. Next slide. See you. Still me. So Gishelli already mentioned the harlequin bug, but this is one of the species that actually preys on the plant. It eats the plant, turnipweed or bastard cabbage. In 2024, when we did this survey first, so we survey for March and April, try to get out almost every day there on campus and find as many insects as we can, upload them to iNaturalist. In 2024, we only found 2 of these harlequin bugs, but in 2026, we found 10 of them. So it appears that this species is actually increasing. You'll see in the rest of the talk, most of the species decreased between the 2 samples. This is one exception. And I happen to bring a couple with me to pass around so you guys can see this guy. Now this might be one of the cases where the turnipweed is hurting the ecosystem or potentially farmers, because these also feed on cabbage. So if you have a bunch of this turnipweed or bastard cabbage around, that might increase this species, which could get into your cabbage, especially in agricultural areas, which would not be good. This guy is another really cool one that I found just a few weeks ago. When I first identified it, I thought it was bad for the bastard cabbage, but it's actually a good thing for the bastard cabbage. These guys are the ones that will parasitize caterpillars. They lay their eggs in them. The caterpillars are kind of brainwashed, and then eventually the larvae will come out of the caterpillar, and the caterpillar will build a little cocoon for them. So as far as turnipweed goes, it's actually a good thing for it because these guys kill the caterpillars that would be feeding on them. Next slide, please. So here is that harlequin bug again. You can see where it's found in the eastern United States, much more so in the southeast. Here's what it looks like after it's been on some normal cabbage. But it is interesting that this species is more common now than it was 2 years ago, at least at our location on the river. Next one.
Okay, so for food, during specifically March and April, there is not a lot of primary sources where they can get food. So the primary source of nectar would be turnipweed, which is where they get all their food from.
Another neat thing that we found is plenty of examples of mimicry. This is one of the classic ones with drone flies. You can see in 2024 we had 4 different species in the family, 30 observations alone of the yellow-shouldered, which was the most common. This year we only found a grand total of 2 observations. So that species is not as abundant this year. We'll discuss potentially why in a second. Next slide, please. So drone flies obviously mimic bees and wasps, which is an adaptation that helps keep them safe. Things are less likely to eat them when they're worried about being stung. These guys are also important pollinators, indicator species, and they help as a pest control because the larvae of these guys feed on aphids and other pests to agricultural plants. So the more of them, the better it is. Next slide, please. Another really interesting one has been looking at ladybugs or lady beetles. You can see in 2024 we had 86 observations, 3 species. The IN is for invasive up here. And then in 2026, we've had only 48 observations, but 7 species. And you can see a lot more invasives. Next slide. So here are the 2 invasive introduced ones. So we've got the 7-spotted over here on the left and the Asian lady beetle over here on the right. Next slide. This is the pink spotted, which is my favorite of all of them. We didn't find any of these in 2024, and we found multiple of them in 2026. And then this is convergent, which I believe is the way the elytra come together on the back. And you can see he's also having a snack right there. All lady beetles, as you probably know, eat aphids, so they're a great thing to have around. Next slide. So overall, the observations decreased by 44% between the 2 samples. There was more species, though, which is a good thing. Possible ecological implications: reduced prey availability, shift from dominance and diversity. I think maybe this influence of weather and climate was the big one. When we had Winter Storm Fern, which is the other talk we're giving today, maybe that freezing cold for several days killed off a lot of these insects, and that's why our numbers are low. Hopefully that's why. Next. And this is our last one, I believe, for mimicry. But this is a cocklebur borer, which looks a lot like a lady beetle. But this plant right here, cocklebur, this is what the river will look like. It's already in transition now. So for March and April, it's a lot of that turnipweed or bastard cabbage. But after that, this is the predominant species that just takes over. Next.
So for predation, you can see right here, it's a crab spider eating what looks like a crane fly or a drone fly. Here are more examples of crab spiders eating. That's yeah.
Oops, sorry.
Also having a snack, but Brinker already mentioned that one. And there are some aphids, which you can see Ladybug was probably already feasting on some. Okay, can you even see the crab spider there?
I don't know.
Exactly.
There's the head, there's the cephalothorax, legs.
Can you see it again? Can you spot it? Again? And again? Okay, so here's an introduction. Obviously, commonly called crab spiders, which is what I've been calling them. They're named like that for the crab stance and sideways movements. They ambush predators, so that means basically they just like to get them by surprise, which is why they don't make a web. Okay, this is actually kind of funny story. I went out to go take pictures, and I came back. I gave the camera to Brinker. He sends me this one. He's like, very cool picture you took of a crab spider. I'm like, what are you talking about? What crab spider? I do not see a crab spider there. So originally, I didn't see anything.
But here's his legs if you're missing them. There's his thorax, his head.
But the other picture is white. Is it the same color?
Yes, yep.
Ah. So perching, obviously, they're just kind of resting by. Here's an example of a red admiral, a Harley Quinn bug, a drone fly, bless you, and a few other. They're just resting, right? Yeah. So what I saw when I would go down was they would hold onto the turnipweed while it was very windy. So essentially they just use that as the grab and hold, and so predators, they aren't as visibly spotted.
So now we're going to talk about the results between the two surveys. So in 2024, all of this, by the way, is on iNaturalist, which is neat because anyone can check it out. But we had mostly Western honeybees, which is the same this year. Another side note, that's an introduced species as well, right? Western honeybees, all the honeybee collapse syndrome and all that, that's an introduced species, something to think about. 7-spotted lady beetles, second again. That's when things start to change. We had a lot more spiders this year, less flies. We had a lot more butterflies and moths compared to this year as well. We had more of these tarnished plant bugs and a lot more Asian lady beetles. Next slide. So here we've got it broken down by insect order, including spiders, which aren't insects, but spiders you can see increased 13 to 6 for species. Beetles increased by 1. True flies dropped considerably. True bugs dropped as well. Ants, bees, wasps stayed the same. The big story here, though, I think is this one. The butterflies and moths drastically dropped, potentially due to that winter storm that was so cold, but we're not exactly sure and look forward to seeing more next year, hopefully. Next slide. So again, the beetles, true bugs increased, but the butterflies are the biggest decrease, followed by flies, lacewings. Next one. This is looking at just observations, so how many times we uploaded each species. So we got a lot more spiders this year and beetles and a few more true bugs, but butterflies and moths, 362 less. That's a huge number. And again, the only thing we've thought of right now is that winter storm fern maybe killed off a lot. But we hope to continue the project, and next year we'll find out more on it. Flies as well, Dobson flies, fish flies, and lacewings all were significantly less. Next slide.
Yeah.
So when we think about this study that we've done, we think that this might be a good model organism that other students could do, other classrooms, elementary, middle school, other high schools, master naturalists, Sierra Club members, because it's only really out during March and April. So you just go outside, you take pictures of anything on that plant, and then all together, all the iNaturalist data can be used to find trends in what's going on with our species around here. It's a way to standardize sampling pretty easily, I think. Next slide. So I think we should be calling this guy turnipweed. I think that bastard cabbage has a negative connotation. I think it's mean to the plant. The plant didn't do anything wrong. I think it's a beneficial species inside an urban ecosystem like the Trinity River. I hope that from now on you will call it turnipweed, which I will try my best to do as well. I think it's in a lot of ways very beneficial to our ecosystem and to the insects and invertebrates in Fort Worth. Is that it?
Yeah.
That's all we got. Questions? I'm sure we have some questions. Yes.
Does turnipweed spread just through seeds or insects carry them, or how is it moved from one area to another?
They produce thousands and thousands of seeds. They're really, really fecund. They also get